Hey, what's happening? I'm Jason Newsted. You're watching Loudwire.
Hey everyone, Graham from Loudwire here with Mr. Jason Newsted. Thank you so much for sitting down with me here at his wonderful art collection here in New York City, showing it for the world. This is Wikipedia Fact or Fiction.
I love it.
So, went on your Wikipedia page, all the different bands, albums, all that stuff.
Fun.
Picked out some stuff.
Okay.
You're going to tell us if it's real or not. First off, they do get this wrong sometimes. So, Jason Curtis Newsted, born in Battle Creek, Michigan.
That's true.
That's true.
That's
okay,
true.
That's where Rob Van Dam is from.
Okay.
It said that you were exposed to music as a child by listening to the record collections of your older brothers.
True.
That's true.
Yeah, I have one brother 5 years older and one brother 8 years older. And so I heard, and I was born in 1963, and so I heard Hendrix when I was, 9 years old or 8 years old or something.
Very good.
And then when I finally started getting into music and wanted to play an instrument and everything, I stole, one brother was kind of more down with the rock, and my other brother was more down with the funk. And so I would steal Earth, Wind & Fire, Ohio Players, and these kind of things from this brother, my older brother. And then I would steal Kiss and Nazareth and Queen and these kind of bands from this brother. And so, and he was the one that had the cooler stereo and the headphones. So I'd collect all the records and go, and when he was gone, I would get in there and get the old Koss headphones on my head and just dig in the Queen and listening to the mixes and the things and the way they twist the music around. I think it helped a lot with my development of understanding how it's all supposed to go.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Your first instrument was actually the guitar, which you started playing at 9 years old.
Yeah.
About right?
Call it that.
But then you moved to bass at 14 because Gene Simmons inspired you to do so.
For sure. Yep, that's all true. But I got a Sears Roebuck student model guitar when I was 9 years old. From the 9th Christmas, I think it was. And didn't know how to tune it or put my left hand on it or anything like that. So my family was very involved in the church, at that time and stuff like that. And so I would write songs about Jesus, and I would put lines on the paper and write real big letters like at school, and write songs about Jesus, and I would write the number above the thing. There was no left hand action, it was left hand optional. You know what I'm saying? You need that hand to point at the chicks in the crowd and stuff. So I was practicing that for later.
Of course.
So I was just I'd write 1, 1, 3, 3, 2, 2, and whatever they were tuned to is what they were tuned to. Whatever sounded cool to me that they went together. So I write the number above that and make my little Jesus songs and stuff. So that's all the farther I really got any kind of guitar with that type of thing.
But you were writing your own songs all the way back then.
Yes.
Wow.
And then when I started liking Kiss, there was a cat that brought it in. I was playing saxophone in junior high school band, and the drummer guy, cool because they're in the drum section of the band, right? And he brought in a Kiss record into school, and I lost my shit.
Do you remember which one it was?
I want to say Dressed to Kill. So I take my acoustic guitar, and it's got 3 on a side, like a Gibson,
Yeah.
3 tuners on a side, and I removed the middle tuners off of each side, so it was 4 to be a bass. So there's 2 strings going down the side of the neck and 2 going down the middle.
So you turned it into a bass?
So I turned it into a bass, and it still sits on my bed in that house at my dad's home.
Wow.
That same guitar with 1 string on it. And every time that I go back to see my dad, I go down there, and I still got, because it's my room still when I was 16. It's all my Hendrix posters, Clash, all my stuff is still intact, because it's important to my dad to have, kind of keep that together. And so I always go down and play Am I Evil on the 1 string.
Flotsam and Jetsam. It said you answered a local newspaper ad when they were looking for a bass player while you were in Phoenix with your band Gangster. It said that Gangster broke up in Phoenix, so you went, hey, I'm here. Maybe I'll audition for a band.
Pretty close.
That's pretty close?
Pretty close. I was 18 years old. I don't recommend most of this. When I was 18 years old, I quit school. I had 3 months to go.
Wow.
But I was in a band with guys that were 26 and 27 years old. And they wanted to go to California to be rock stars.
Okay.
I sold a lot of my record collection, got $300 together, got my bass amp and a suitcase full of stuff, and told my parents I was rolling out, and my dad was freaking, my mom was freaking more. But I went and got in the back of a U-Haul truck with a sheepdog, closed U-Haul truck with an English sheepdog named Rudy.
Okay.
I'd work at a sandwich pizza place from 9 to 6, and I'd go wash dishes from 7 to 2:30 in the morning, and I'd do round and round and round. I'd go and ride my BMX bike back and forth, and just trying to earn money and keep it together. And so finally I got to get away from those people, moved into some other houses I went, through time, and So 5 months after that, February of 1982, went into a music store in Phoenix on 16th Street, and Kelly Smith had an ad up on the wall there, and it said something about Iron Maiden or something, and Rush, I think it was. And I called him up, and he says, "Come on out." And we practiced at his dad's office. February 10th, 1982 was the beginning of Flotsam and Jetsam.
The Metallica audition. It said you were the last of over 50 musicians to audition, and you secretly procured the band's set list, studied it, presented it to Lars, saying that you knew all of these songs, much to his surprise.
It's not that hard to figure out what set list the band played with Ozzy during the tour in the summer that time.
Fair
figure
enough.
It wasn't that hard to figure out. It's not any kind of giant secret that you get your shit together if you really want a gig, and you prepare the songs that they've been playing, and you got yourself together enough to know and have that set list ready if then you decide to pull the trigger. So it is true that it was on Flotsam and Jetsam stationery with my logo at the top. It was written down in the order that they had performed in the last time they played in our area, and that I did hand it to him over the drums, and he looked at the logo and he looked at the list, and I did say, "I know these songs," and he did go, "Holy shit, dude, that's cool." And he goes, "Let's play that one, that one, that one, that one," and we did. And they called me back 2 days later. The Burtons were there, and Torben Ulrich was there, and both Burtons were alive then. They were so nice to me. When I got called back, they all came. When I went back the second time, they all came
so
to
the
watch me and hug me and
were-
embrace me. And Jan Burton, grabbed me right away. Once the guys told me, he said, "You're the one. They know you're the one. Please be safe." That kind of shit. That was heavy. That was heavy.
So
But
they
I'm
were
never
there
gonna
to
forget
make
it, though.
sure that
Yeah,
the
yes,
next
yeah,
bass...
that
Wow,
they're passing it. They're passing Cliff's torch on.
Wow.
Who's getting it?
It said that Metallica initiated you by tricking you into eating a ball of wasabi.
Not far from the truth. So I was, I was in the band for 11 days, and we were touring Japan.
Okay.
Metallica touring Japan for the first time.
Wow.
So it was their first time too. So we're having our drinks and partying. And Kirk's like, "Jason, this mint ice cream is awesome."
Of course. Yeah.
But I was so hammered, I'm like, if it was ice cream, it would have melted, right? Or I was totally, and so they go, "You should really try some of this. It's mint. It's really great." And I'm like, "Okay." So I had a freaking spoonful. I couldn't use chopsticks yet, right? Didn't have that yet. And I said, "Oh, cool." Fuck. So I'm sitting there, and then I finally come out of it, and I look up, and I don't know anybody at the table. Everybody's gone, but this table is full. It's still all the people have kind of come and sit in this thing over time, and they're all, "Come on in." And I sit here, and then Kirk would have somebody come and sit down. Somebody has the road crew guy was sitting, and people would full, and all eventually now there's all this just, Asian girls and people up and down this freaking table. And I'm looking around for somebody that I know, and dude brings the bill. So back then, yen exchange, it was powerful back then, right?
Big numbers.
It was big back then. And I was making $500 a week, which was a lot of fucking money for playing bass. You give me a sandwich and a beer and I'd have been happy in that whole situation, but they were giving me $500 a week. But the bill comes, and it's got zeros like, I'm looking at this thing, and there's nobody around, and this guy's just standing like this, right? But they were fucking with me. They were watching from like up here somewhere. And the dude's gonna watching my face, and then Bobby comes down, the tour manager, finally, and he takes the bill, and he takes care of it and pats me on the back, all that kind of stuff. And I was like,
oh, wow.
So that's the wasabi story.
Black Album producer Bob Rock, he said he altered Metallica's working schedule and routine so much that you guys swore to never work with them again.
Oh no, I don't remember
fiction.
that. I don't remember that part.
Gotcha.
I remember being so happy about the result that we wouldn't work with anybody else except for him. That's what I remember.
Wow, so quite the opposite.
Quite the opposite.
Yeah.
So if something happened later with it, I don't know. But at that moment, no, we were very proud of finally getting him into our camp, and the things that he showed us and the things we showed him made a very, look, it sells 4,000, 5,000 copies a week still, guys.
Today. In 2003, you joined Ozzy Osbourne's band. Both yourself and Ozzy were enthusiastic about recording an album together. Why not?
ATV accident.
That's why. Yeah, the ATV
And
accident.
I had to go on with Voivod, and we wanted to make another record, and then I wanted to do the other stuff, and on and I went.
So if it wasn't for that ATV
I think
accident,
that, well, because we were scheduled to open for them across Europe, and the deal that I made with Sharon in February of that year was that if I'm coming out, I got Voivod going, I got a record going. If I'm coming out, you have to let us open all the shows. And she's like, well, okay. So I did double duty, and in 30 days I did 60 shows. That's how I rolled that summer.
Yeah.
So it's like that, and that's how I was ready to roll in Europe too. I play in that band for an hour, and I play in that band for 2.5 hours on the same night. Let's go.
Wow.
Had like 40 or whatever songs spinning around in my head and they're all such a, think about it, dude. Some of the Geezer lines, and then some of the Blackie lines from Voivod and all those, kind of keeping all that together on bass. That's a lot, man, a lot.
For sure.
But it was victorious. So, but I would have loved to rock with Ozzy. I would never put it out of my mind. If he called me again, I'd play bass with him for a day or for a song or whatever. I don't feel any ill will towards any of that camp. And I mean, it was an honor to be with a great teacher like that. He was just he was quite out of his mind at the time. It was hard to deal with sometimes, but he's also a genuine rock fan. He's just like you and me.
Last one. You began to express yourself through painting, as you can see around us right now, after getting injured while attempting to catch a falling bass amp head.
Not just any bass amp.
What's that?
Not just any bass amp.
Not just any bass amp head.
Right. The one that made the Black Album, the one that made Load, the one that made Reload, the one that...
Okay, so one that really, if it's shattered...
The bass head.
Yeah, so better tear your shoulders apart than let that one go.
I had many SVT heads. I was sponsored by them for years. I have many of them in different stores in different places in the world and shit, actually. Oh. But that's the one. Thousands of times. Rolled it 1 foot, rolled it 10 feet, rolled it over there. That day, did that thing, and it tipped that way, and it went that way, and the head was headed to the floor of the chop house. And in reaction, I grabbed it like that, and it went whoop! And took that completely out, ripped the bicep all the way separated. It was sitting down here. It just took it off. So it just happened to be ergonomically, or whatever you want to call that, at that moment, as that head, transformer side down, was falling, and I caught it, it just did that. That's all.
Jason, thank you so much for sitting down
on that happy note
with me. You're doing all right. Strong hand, strong grip. Take a look at that. Jason Newsted, everybody.
Thanks, you guys. Cheers.